On August 14, 2025, global leaders, former prime ministers, foreign affairs and security experts, international NGO representatives, and academics gathered at the Lotte Hotel in Seoul in commemoration of the 80th National Liberation Day of Korea. The 2025 International Forum on One Korea was a platform for exploring practical steps by the international community toward a free and unified Korea. With over 700 participants from 20 countries, the conference presented a new model for civil society-led unification diplomacy. This year's theme was International Support for a Free and Unified Korea, a catalyst for world peace and development. The forum discussed key strategies for expanding international support. One roundtable linked the reunification of the Korean Peninsula to peace in the Indo-Pacific region. Sessions explored important topics, including North Korean human rights, the environment, international cooperation, and the role of Korean diaspora. Leaders proposed a path to peace building beyond government, a citizen-led movement for reunification. Following the series of roundtables, participants headed to the banquet hall to commemorate the 80th National Liberation Day of Korea. Over 700 political and civil society leaders from Korea and abroad gathered to reflect on the historical significance of liberation and reaffirm their commitment to reunification, transcending 80 years of division. The banquet was a historic moment as hundreds shared in the vision of peace and reunification. In his congratulatory speech, the Minister of Unification, Chung Dong-young, addressed the complex economic, security, and political crisis, emphasizing that peace on the Korean Peninsula cannot be achieved by the government alone, but must be created together with citizens. A highlight of the event was the keynote speech by Dr. Hyun-jin Preston Moon, chairman of the Global Peace Foundation. He looked back on 80 years of history while looking squarely at the challenges of the present.
So where do we stand 80 years later? The Korean people are still divided, and the aspirations of the Samil movement remain unfulfilled. The two Koreas hold diametrically opposed worldviews and have traveled very different paths. The DPRK has become a repressive, dictatorial, nuclear-armed state that threatens regional and global security and whose population live in dire poverty. The ROK, on the other hand, has transitioned from a dysfunctional and corrupt republic into a military dictatorship and now back to a liberal democracy, in form at least. There is urgent need for reform and renewal in every sphere of national life, politics, economics, society, and culture. Such renewal will only come through a fresh vision and national purpose that all citizens and segments of society can unite around and work towards, as our parents had in the post-war era period. The vision for this new age is the Korean Dream. It will not only engender a rebirth of Korean culture and historical heritage, but reconnect all Koreans to the providential calling of our people, rooted in our founding ideals of Hongik-gan, to live for the benefit of all humanity. If the Korean dream for a unified Korea, I outlined in my book, The Korean Dream, A Vision for a Unified Korea, was shared and owned by all Koreans, I know that unification will certainly come. Just as the collapse of the Berlin Wall came without any warning, so too will Korean unification. The Korean dream seeks to create a new nation aligned with the aspirations of our ancestors throughout our 5,000-year history to fulfill the Hongik-gan mandate of heaven. It clarifies the foreign construct of the Cold War framework that the peninsula has been struggling with for over 8 decades and recognizes the shortcoming of both South and North Korea. The only way to break out of that framework is the formation of a new nation that harkens back to the hopes of the Samil movement that launched the modern era for our people. But unlike the geopolitical circumstances that hinder our forefathers' dreams more than 80 years ago, today we carry the moral authority as the only people that has been deprived of the opportunity to shed the colonial legacy and ideological divide of the 20th century. This is a moral prerogative. The creation of the nation of our dreams will be the prerogative that the world will fully embrace and support, because it was well overdue. It would also address the fundamental political, social, economic issues plaguing the South and free the people in the North from bondage under the Kim regime. Unification will be a marriage made in heaven, since the very thing the ROK needs to maintain the miracle on the Han is what the North has. If you want to become the owner of the Korean dream, shout with me, Aju! 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 May God bless you and your families. Thank you very much.
The next day, on August 15th, 2025, tens of thousands of citizens gathered at Toksum Hangang Park to celebrate the 80th anniversary of Korean Liberation Day. The banks of the Han River became a stage of hope, singing not only of past independence, but also of future unification. Citizens called to go beyond the miracle on the Han River and move toward reunification at the 2025 Korean Dream Hangang Festa. Citizens came together to envision peaceful reunification despite the hot summer night.
한강의 기적을 넘어 한반도 통일의 기적을 실현하기 위한 2025 코리안 드림 한강 대축제의 개막을 선언합니다.
남과 북, 보수와 진보, 세대와 지역을 넘고 나아가 국경과 문화의 경계를 초월한 세계 시민이 함께 그려내는 통합의 지평, 그것이 바로 우리가 지향하는 코리안 드림입니다.
광복 80년, 이제 한강은 새롭게 흐르고 있습니다. 코리안 드림을 통해 시민의 목소리, 우리의 목소리를 하나로 모아 널리 세상을 이롭게 하는 이상국가, 인류사의 모범이 되는 자유롭고 통일된 코리아를 만들어야 합니다.
On the 80th anniversary of Korean Liberation Day, a song that opens a new chapter in history resounded on stage. Sun Yi-ji-yu and the orchestra performed Korean Dream, Come, O Glorious Light. The uplifting melody and passionate harmony left the audience deeply moved. Together, tens of thousands of people joined their voices to sing Our Wish is Unification, echoing across the Han River. The most profound moment amid the excitement of the festival was the keynote speech by Dr. Hyunjin Preston Moon, chairman of the Global Peace Foundation.
And unlike many other civilizations that have been here for millennia, Korea is unique in that it had a founding vision where Hongik Ingan stated as a heavenly mandate for the Korean people that you shall live for the benefit of all of mankind. Unlike many nations, many ancient civilizations that use power and force to overcome their enemies and enlarge their empire, Korea never did any of that throughout its entire history. We have been a peaceful nation. We have been invaded more than 900 times. But staying true to the heavenly mandate of 홍인간, to live for the benefit of humanity, we never attacked our neighbors.
Dr. Hyunjin Preston Moon emphasized that the vision of the Korean dream isn't a personal ideal, but inheriting his father's will and spirit has become a calling for this age.
In 1991, at a perilous moment in the history of this peninsula, he opened the door to North Korea in 1991, although his entire life had been dedicated to fighting global world communism, and especially the regime of North Korea. As a private citizen, without the support or the protection of any nation, he visited North Korea. And in front of Kim Il-sung, he demanded that Kim Il-sung put down the Chuche ideology and open the door for the unification of the Korean Peninsula. For many North Koreans who were there, who eventually defected, later told me that they never saw anything like that in their life. In Korea, there's a saying, with sincerity you can move heaven. And it was the sincerity of his convictions, even willing to give up his own life to bring about unification, that he went and met with Kim Il-sung. You are the owners of this generation that has rekindled the DNA of 홍인간 in each and every one of yourselves. You are carrying the spirit of our ancestors that led the independence movement and came to the point in 1945 in which we stand today, 80 years later. 아니에요! That is why this is the most important moment in the history of our people and our civilization. For this will be the hour of our transformation, where once again our nation shall be whole, where we will realize the dream of our ancestors to build a model nation rooted in 홍인간, our heavenly mandate as a providential people, to build a modern nation that could be the model to the world. So as we plant and spread the seeds of the Korean dream to our neighbors and our neighbors' neighbors, those of you who are going to walk as an owner, putting everything on the line for the unification of North and South Korea, stand up with me. 일어나세요! And say, 아주!
그리고 아주 하고 외쳐주시기 바랍니다.
아주!
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 감사합니다.
At 8 p.m., the festival reached its climax. Over 1,200 drones lit up the night sky with the Korean flag, a map of the Korean peninsula, and the words, Korean Dream. When the South and North were connected as one, the crowd responded with cheers and applause. The 20-minute fireworks show filled the sky with messages of harmony, peace, and reunification, illuminating the night of the 80th anniversary of Liberation Day. This day in 2025 marked the 80th anniversary of Korean Liberation Day. The Han River is once again changing the course of history. In the past, the miracle on the Han River led to the breakthrough of the Republic of Korea, and now it is leading to the miracle of the reunification of the Korean Peninsula. The Korean Dream Hangang Festa will be remembered as the first step toward a new future and another piece of history inscribed on the path to reunification. 2025 Korean Dream Hangang Festa.